Hello, I am Francesca Simon, and I am the author of the Horrid Henry books, or in Romanian, I believe you call him năstrușnic. And Horrid Henry has different names all over the world because he is published in almost 30 countries. So I'm here today to answer a few of your fabulous questions. And the first question is from Theo, who is 7, and his question is, Nick is the child in us all. How did he appear? And what happened was, I was interested in writing about families where there was a good child and a bad child. And a friend of mine asked me to write about somebody horrid. And I said, well, Henry was horrid. Everyone said so. So it was his name that popped into my head. And then I thought, well, if I have a horrid brother, I need somebody who's different, somebody perfect. And that's how Perfect Peter, or Robert, as you call him, came into being. And yes, he is that impish child inside all of us, the one who thinks the world would be perfect if they were in charge. Next question is from Emina, and that why Nick and not the other character? And that's a really interesting question, because when you're a writer, you want to write about characters who do unexpected, wild things. And if I was writing about Robert, you would know what was going to happen in the story, because Robert is like all of us. You know, we try to do our homework and set the table and help our parents. And Nick is the wild child inside us. So as a writer, he's much funnier to write about, and of course much funnier to read about, because you never know what he is going to do. So he is that impish voice inside all of us that just says, oh, what would happen if I walked through that door? Or what would happen if I did something that I'm not supposed to do? So you have all the fun of behaving badly, and yet you're never punished, which is perfect, which is why we all love to read and go and see films and go and see plays, because it's a chance to try out different lives and different ways of doing things, but in a safe way. What is Nick's most mischievous prank? And that's from Dan Octavian. And that's a really fun question because there's so many. But my personal favorite, I think, is when Nick tells Robert that there are fairies at the bottom of the garden, and he tricks Robert into climbing a tree and staying there at night to see if there really are fairies. And of course Robert gets into big trouble, and I just think there's something so funny about that story, and it's actually based on a true story. Someone did that to their brother, not about the fairies, but tricked their brother into climbing a tree and then left him there. So that was a good revenge on Robert, who can be a very annoying brother. Why is Nick so different from Robert? And that's from Snejana. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I haven't. And as I said before, you want to have a contrast between the brothers. And in some ways, I think Nick and Robert are two sides of everybody in the whole world, and I just divided them in half. So Nick is the side that, wants to destroy the sandcastle, and Robert is the side that wants to build it and make everything wonderful. So they're there to be funny, and also because they are two sides of everybody, just kind of chopped in half. Because if you put Robert and Nick together, you'd get like a pretty normal kid. And finally, is there any connection between Nick and the child Francesca? And that's from Bogdan. And that's a great question, because of course there is. I was very much like Nick at home. I'm the eldest of 4 children, and I was always yelling and screaming and slamming doors. And yet, as soon as I got to school, I was the best student. I always did my homework. I always put my hand up. My teachers all loved me. So I was both. And I think even though I was never, really behaved as badly as Nick, a part of me always wanted to do what I wanted to do, like everybody. So it's a way of freeing, letting out that part of myself, I suppose. But I was very different at home than at school. And thank you, all of you, for your great questions. And I'm so pleased that you are all such Nick fans, and happy reading to everybody. Bye.